Thank you, Chair. Thank you to all the witnesses. I suppose that maybe we should have had this meeting in Essex today because if we're talking about Harrow, we're talking about Essex, and we're talking about batteries. So it's been a really fantastic meeting, full of a lot of information so far. Monsieur Goudreau, I will not be able to get to you in my line of questioning, but if you would please reach out to my office, sir. I would love to have a conversation with you with regard to batteries, please. Madam Chair, farmers feed cities. I mean, we see those signs right across Essex. Everybody knows that. And so not only Canadian cities, but now we have an opportunity for trade. So, Mr. Byrne, I just want to let you know, I got home late last night and woke up this morning to my soybean fields that's now turning. So before very long, my yield will be part of this conversation as well. Just recently, I visited ADM. So for those that don't know, ADM is a crushing plant and then an export plant in LaSalle, Windsor area. And that's where freighters come and trains come, and they do a bunch of exporting. I'm generally speaking, I'm pretty well versed on this side. Also, just a point of interest, the Shadow Minister for Agriculture, John Barlow, will be in Essex on Saturday. I'll be having a conversation with him as well on a lot of these various fronts. So there's a lot of things in the mix right now, but specifically, Madam Chair, through you to Mr. Byrne. So I understand the costs. I understand the price of grain. I understand the price of fuel. I'm just wondering, by the way, and the lack of fertilizer, and then the price of fertilizer, if you can even find it. So but in the last session of Parliament, Mr. Lawrence brought forward a private member's bill, which would be to take the tax off of gas to dry our grains. And I believe that Mr. Lobb is now introducing that very shortly. Would that be something that would help the farmers to invest more, to have more grain going forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that in general, anytime that a farmer can invest in his own operation versus sending the money out to the government side is a positive on our end. So in this case, a lot of people are doing the exact same thing that they would be doing on their farms to dry their grain, but they're having to send out checks of $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 to dry it down. And as you would know, we don't have a reliable source that we could change to. So usually some of these pieces come into play to enact change, but there's nothing we can switch from off natural gas and propane that's currently reliable at the time. So we certainly look forward to that private member's bill continuing, and we hope that it will pass. Okay, thank you. And Chair, it's for you. Back to Mr. Byrne, please. Just, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, like maybe less than a couple of weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to address the Essex County Federation of Agriculture. And they certainly had a lot of concerns with regard to the fertilizer side of things. But then I started to ask them, so if we give you some relief, how much more capacity does Ontario have specifically? And I'm wondering, when I say capacity, how much, if we gave the proper relief to the farmers, how much more could Ontario export? Are there any numbers for that, sir? I could certainly pull some numbers from our team. We have an economist on staff in our GR department as well. I know in general, the issue you get into with the fertilizer, especially with the tight supplies and the tariff, is that there will be some people, say even planting wheat.
Hold on, Mr. Byrne. All right. You need to go. You need to go back a half a minute, please.
Yeah, no problem. So on that fertilizer piece, there are farmers right now that are planting wheat. They're providing it with just kind of a base level of nitrogen versus kind of a full level. And that's where you...
Hold on again.
To impact food production. You'll have...
hold on, Mr. Byrne, we missed a little bit. Go back 30 seconds. With your last statement here, it's getting broken up.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, anytime that we're using less fertilizer because it costs more or because we have a tariff applied to it is going to directly affect food production, because farmers are going to make decisions based on what is the amount that I can put into the crop with the expectation of the return, knowing full well that we are at the mercy of the weather. So we certainly hope that there's a tariff relief that comes. We'd like to see the tariff removed because we're the only G7 nation that has enacted that, so that we can provide as much food production as possible, not only for Ontario and Canada, but also for those areas around the world, especially in and around the Ukraine, where we can maybe help out where it's certainly going to be needed.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.